Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking all about the wonderful world of OS 2. I know I've said this in previous videos, but this operating system remains a fascinating piece of software to me. Back in the late 1980s, the dynamic duo of Microsoft and IBM had joined their efforts to create what many in the industry believed to be the operating system that would define the world of personal computing for years to come. Even Bill Gates himself was quoted as saying, "I believe OS 2 is destined to be the most important operating system and possibly program of all time." But unfortunately for IBM, OS 2 remains only a footnote in the story of the personal computer. Overshadowed by Microsoft Windows, it never saw the massive success that Big Blue had hoped. But that's not to say that OS 2 was a complete flop. In fact, it still finds specialized use to this day. From ATMs to even New York City's subway system, at least until 2024 when MetroCard is completely phased out. And today's video focuses on one of the projects that attempts to keep OS 2 alive and well in the modern day for use on modern hardware. It's called ArcaOS, an operating system based on OS 2 that's officially licensed by IBM. It was first announced in 2015, although you wouldn't be able to tell that from this video of the presentation that looks and sounds like it was filmed in 1993.
The third quarter of 2016 is our target. We don't want to come out with something that's half-baked, and we don't want to have 7 release candidates like some other operating system.
And it was intended to be a successor of sorts to Ecom Station, another project that aimed to make a version of OS 2 that was compatible with modern computers. At the time, Ecom Station hadn't been updated in 4 years. In fact, it still hasn't, though you can purchase it to this day if you wanted to shell out $340. ArcaOS, on the other hand, is still in active development. It received its latest release, 5.0.7, at the end of 2021, and there are plans for a 5.1 release in the future. So I thought we'd check it out today and see what it has to offer. So our computer of choice for this video is going to be the Dell Latitude D610, and I gotta give a huge thank you to Sean for letting me borrow his copy of ArcaOS, which I've got in this computer right now. Now, if you were to purchase ArcaOS and download the disk image file from them, it's gonna come in at around 1.3 gigabytes, so you're gonna have to have a DVD or a USB drive to install this on another computer, because you can't put this on a CD, that's for sure. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and just exit out of the setup here, and it's just going to start booting off of the CD. And we're going to boot with default values. Now, the reason why I chose this Dell laptop is because, you can't normally put OS 2 on this thing. I mean, you guys probably saw from my 2 attempts to install OS 2 2.1 and OS 2 Warp 3 on, well, I used a couple of computers in those videos, all of which were manufactured long after the versions of OS 2 I was trying to install on them, so we of course ran into a bunch of problems, and we would experience those same problems on this laptop right here, but not with ArcaOS, because it is designed with newer hardware in mind. So the installer loads up, we get the Workplace shell prompt there, which is going to minimize, and it's going to open up the installer. And here it is. Welcome to ArcaOS. So you got to pick a font size. We're going to choose large because that'll show up better on video. And you've got your input settings, keyboard and mouse, whether you're right-handed or left-handed for the mouse there. Now, the system management button here will bring up they call it a utility desktop, which is just, you can get access to certain utilities like command prompts and various tools and things if you're wanting to troubleshoot your existing install. If you want to open up disk utility right from here, you can do that. We're just going to restart the installer. You've got your license agreement, which you have to scroll all the way to the bottom to get the option to agree to it. So we're going to do just that. Next up, it has you select the installation type. You do have a few different options here. The easiest way to get through this is to choose a predefined personality, as they're called, which are just predefined configurations, as it says up here. And we're going to go with single volume with default options, but you do have a few different options in here. You could also go with custom or scripted. We're just going to go with the default option there because that's fine for the purposes of this video. And now it's going to ask you where you want to install it to. Now, this hard drive in here, I believe has been formatted. I don't think there's anything on it. So we're going to have to click on Manage Volumes. We're going to create a volume on it. We're going to go with a standard bootable volume. And we're going to call it drive letter C, and we'll just name it ArcaOS. ArcaOS. We're going to use it as the primary partition. We'll use all of the space on the drive. Yes, we want to save our changes. And now we should... Yep, there we go. So you've got two different options for the file system. You can go with JFS, the journaled file system, or the HPFS, high performance file system. We're just going to go with JFS. You can check for errors while formatting if you want. We're not really going to bother with that for this video, but the option is there for you. Next up is your location settings. We're just going to leave all of this at the default because it's correct for me. Now this configure hardware screen is very important because you're going to want to go through here and make sure everything is set up to your liking. First up is basic compatibility. You want to make sure if you're running this on vintage hardware that you select vintage hardware. We're on modern hardware, so we're just going to stick with that. We're going to definitely grab all of the USB controllers. And for audio, we're just going to go with the universal audio driver. Also worth noting is if you were installing this in a virtual machine, you've got the option to install VirtualBox guest editions right from here. Nothing for VMware though, which is what I use most of the time. But hey, it's nice to see VirtualBox in here. So with all that said, we're going to click on next. And it looks like it's found our network adapter, which is great because it is a Broadcom Ethernet adapter. So it's going to install that. You could add additional adapters if if it didn't detect anything here. There is a wireless adapter in here, but I don't really know if we'd be able to get that working with ArcaOS. But Ethernet will be fine for us for this video, so we're just going to go with that, and we'll hit next. And now you got to give your computer a name, which we will call just Arca. Why not? You select your workgroup. Default username, we'll do Michael. And we'll hit next. And finally, you've got your confirmation screen. So it goes through a summary of all the options that you selected, and it says, please note the ArcaOS system volume will be reformatted and all data on it will be lost. So we're going to hit next and have it do that. Oh, listen to that. We get a startup sound. That's pretty nice. I wasn't actually expecting that. But yeah, if you've used OS 2, which you can see clearly I have not because I keep thinking this is close. If you've used OS 2, ArcaOS will be very familiar to you. You'll feel right at home because it's designed to, it is based on OS 2, so it's kind of going to use the same interface. A lot of the user interface elements are going to be in the same places, but it does add some additional programs, like, for example, a web browser. You've got Firefox installed on here by default. If we go into installed software and we go into, I believe it's, well, there's Thunderbird. There's Firefox right there. So we can open this up. Yay, there it is. So let's see what version this is. I believe this is Firefox ESR. Yep, Firefox ESR 45.9.0. This was released back in 2017. So again, not like the latest browser, though I don't really know if there are any updated browsers for ArcaOS, if there's anything newer than this. But, chances are if you're using ArcaOS on a computer, it's not to browse the web or check your email or anything like that. It's going to be to run OS 2 applications that you just don't have a way of running otherwise. And we're going to demonstrate that here with WordPerfect for OS 2. Of course, the best version of WordPerfect. I mean, I wouldn't know. I've never used it before, but I'm sure somebody thinks that it is. So we're going to get this out of the box here. We'll do a quick little unboxing here. And, oh yeah, by the way, this cost $500. Let me grab the, I think it's on the top of this here. Yeah, $500. You can't really see that. Let me get the camera to focus in here. $495 US. Yeah, definitely a decent chunk of change to pay for WordPerfect, but that's what you would have to fork over back in the day. We also have our transition guide and our workbook right here. We'll go ahead and just set those aside because what we're most interested in is the software which is contained in this little box here, the box within the box. We do have some more reading material and stuff inside of here. We've got a certificate of license. Look at that. So there's proof that this is legit. Got a few other pamphlets and reading material. But let's grab the diskettes, and oh, we've got the little keyboard thing as well. We'll just set that aside for now. The diskettes, we have the original shrink wrap for the diskettes in here as well. Let's see how many there are. We have 7. We have 7 floppy diskettes. And interestingly enough, apparently disk 2 was misprinted or something, because take a look at disk 1 here. You see how the numbers right next to the word disk. Disk 2, you got that little blackout there, and then it's got 2 like typed onto it, like from a typewriter. So I don't know, maybe this is an ultra rare misprint of WordPerfect version 5.2 for OS 2. But we're going to grab a USB floppy drive. We're going to see if we can even use that on here because, you know, there's no floppy disk drive in this laptop as it is. And we'll see if we can install WordPerfect for OS 2. Alright, so slight change of plans. It turns out that the USB floppy drive, the 3 USB floppy drives that I tried to use on that laptop, would not show up in ArcaOS. Now, ArcaOS does support USB devices, and I can plug in a USB flash drive and it shows up just fine, but trying to use any of the USB floppy drives I had was not working out at all. Now, I did read that it is supported. I just decided to install ArcaOS on the 2000s computer that Hero Rarehart sent me a little while ago, thank you very much once again, which has an internal floppy drive that we can pop in WordPerfect diskette number 1 into, so let's do that right now. The other thing I realized is during ArcaOS's installation on the Dell Latitude, I realized that I had selected the basic VGA driver, which meant that it was running in a lower color mode and we couldn't change anything. So I've gone ahead and selected a more appropriate driver for this computer, and you can see that we've got a much higher, truer color mode running here, which is great. So we can see everything as it was meant to be seen. So we're going to go into the drives folder, and we're going to double click on drive A. And we've got sound working as well, as you can hear. Let's try to double click on drive A again, because apparently it didn't open up. There we go. And we're going to run install.exe. So we're going to go with the custom install just to see what options we get. And we're going to click on install, define where WordPerfect OS 2 files are installed from. So you can change the source, that is nice. We can choose where it's going to be installed to. I think all the defaults will be just fine for us. What files to install. Now here's where we can select kind of what components we want. It looks like it has everything checked, and you know what, we're just going to grab everything because we've got plenty of space on this hard drive. You can choose between the CUA or, you know, OS 2 standard keyboard or the DOS WordPerfect 5.1 keyboard. So, you know, if you were used to running WordPerfect under DOS, you might want to select that keyboard. We're just going to go with the CUA keyboard. That's fine for us here. Printer, we're not really going to bother with. You know what? Why not? We'll install the printer driver, even though we don't really have a printer on here at all. And let's maybe select, I don't know, let's get an Epson Apex 80, and we'll start installation. The big question of the day is, of course, do all of these diskettes work? I certainly hope they do, but we do have 7 of them to go through here. And, oh, I was just going to say, it didn't look like it was making much progress, but it just jumped up to 6%, now 22%, so that's good. And we're going to pop in diskette number 2. I do really like that sound effect, by the way. Oh no! Oh no! Diskette number 6 is apparently damaged or something. Oh no, it can't read from this file. This is the first time in a long time that I've had an installer actually throw up an error saying that it couldn't read from a disk. We're at 99%. Does it really need to copy that over, or can it try again? Oh no. 116%. What? 133% now. So, yeah, it's definitely, oh my gosh, 140%, 149%. It's definitely screwing up. I guess it finished. It didn't ask for diskette number 7. This is PostScript Type 1 font, so this might be an optional thing. No, we don't want to view the README. I hope it installed properly, and I hope those are just like optional files that it doesn't need, that aren't like core files that the program needs to open up. But yeah, it says it's been successfully installed. And okay, it has to modify the config.sys, that's fine. Updating the workplace. At this time, you may also install PostScript. Okay, here it is. Do you want to install the fonts now? Let's say yes and see if diskette number 7 works. I'm going to put diskette 6 aside so that I can make a mental note of it. And let's see if number 7 wants to cooperate with us today. Alright, here's all the fonts. Let's get all of them. We have to reboot our computer before running WordPerfect. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. We'll eject the diskette as well. Now to restart, all we got to do is, if I haven't already demoed this, you just go down here to the ArcaOS menu, go to shutdown, and we're going to select reboot. Hooray! There we go. Isn't that lovely? Now, if you haven't noticed, I mean, well, you probably have this thing going on here. You might be wondering what this is. This is multiple desktops, which is really nice. So we could open up like a computer window here, and you can see it draws a little shape there to represent that we have that window open. And I can click on here to go to a different desktop. I think you can move, or no, you cannot. So you can't move. This is not like Rooms, Xerox Rooms for Windows 3.1, where you can just drag stuff from this interface. I did a video on Rooms, by the way. Really cool piece of software that I think definitely deserves more attention. So check that out if you want to, I guess. But yeah, so you got multiple desktops. You know, you can do multiple desktop things with them. So we're gonna go, you see we got this new icon on the desktop for WordPerfect for OS 2. We're just gonna open that up, and let's open up plain old WordPerfect and see if it works. Now it asks us for the license number. Okay, I'm gonna have to grab the software here because I don't think we can. Oh, we can just, all right, I guess we don't have to enter a license number in. That's great. Can we actually use the program? I guess we can. So that's nice. I wonder if there are certain functions of the program that are disabled until you activate it or enter a license key. Yeah, license number, edit license number. Okay, what does this say? WordPerfect for OS 2 will run even if you don't enter a license number. However, you'll need your license number later when you upgrade your software. Okay, so it'll still run. So yeah, we're just gonna, I mean, I think you could enter in anything, right? Yeah, you could enter in whatever you want. We could put MJD as the license number. Program release July 20th, 1993. Shared DLL release on the same day. So there you go. And yeah, so we can type. Let me move the floppy diskettes out of the way so I can actually use the keyboard properly. We can type out, you know, hello world. Whoops, I did not. What did I do? Did I just invert? I think I just inverted. I just tried to press Control A and it says file control-a.wcm not found. Search for file. That was probably one of the files it was trying to copy over. I don't know exactly what I did to like invert the colors here, but it's actually kind of cool. So you can't select all. Can we like copy? Let's see if I can like Control C. Yeah, so you can copy and paste, that's good. I still don't know exactly what I did to invert the colors. Let's just close out of it and not save changes and open it back up. And let's just try, okay. Hello world. Okay, so I just got to the end of a line and I hit enter. And then that apparently inverts the colors for some reason. Hello world, I am typing this document, if I can spell right, on a mid-2000s computer that was donated to me by Hero Rareheart, who I want to thank again very much. This is ArcaOS WordPerfect 5.2 for OS 2. Isn't that fitting? Now can we Control S? That apparently opens up the font size menu. Okay. File, oh, Shift F3. Okay, so it's just a different keyboard shortcut here. Shift F3, and we're gonna save as just MJD. We'll save this to, let's see here. Just save it to the root of the C drive. So that's WordPerfect. Of course, you got all your other WordPerfect related things in here. Thesaurus, Speller, Quick Finder, all that good stuff. You got your file manager here. This is not a video about WordPerfect though, so I'm not gonna really dive into all of this. But it goes to show you that it, you know, it works totally fine. This is a version of WordPerfect for OS 2, works totally fine here on ArcaOS, and it would work completely if diskette number 6 here was not corrupted or screwed up in whatever way that it's screwed up. But at least we can launch the program and type a document. That's fine with me. I do find it funny how you can't use the Control-A keyboard shortcut. Although, I wonder if that would even select everything. Because I wonder if that's a different, like, can you do File, or probably under the edit menu. Edit, is there a select all? Oh, here, select sentence. Okay, there's not a select all? Yeah, it has to be, because I'm hitting Control A here, and it's selecting all. So it just, oh no, I did not want to, I did not want to execute everything. Oh no. Okay, we gotta, well, I said I wasn't gonna open everything up. I guess I just technically did, so, yeah, hopefully that will, oh my gosh, no, 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 no. Let's take a look at some of the other things ArcaOS has to offer, because if we go into programs here, we've got, you know, some games here. You've got Mahjong Solitaire, Chess, and Klondike Solitaire. So I believe this is, yeah, just OS2 Chess. Let's go to product information here. So this is an original OS2 program here, developed by IBM, which appears to be unchanged. So, yeah. There you go. It's OS2 Chess. We've got Klondike Solitaire, which I think is another OS2 standard program. Yep, there it is, version 3.0. And we've got Mahjong Solitaire, which, oh, that's a directory. Okay, let's open up, and let's see, product information. Yep, it's an IBM program. Copyright 93, 95, version 2.2. Oh my gosh, that's rather obnoxious. So it just plays that sound effect while you're here in the About menu. So, yeah, but there it is. So you got Mahjong. We'll go ahead and close out of that and not save. So yeah, got some games in here to pass the time when you have downtime or whatever. If we go into our installed software, this is the folder we took a look at on the laptop, because this is where Firefox is, where Thunderbird is. You've got a few other things. You've got what looks like a VNC server, and I assume a client here. That's nice. PMVNC. You've got PMD Calc. Okay, so you got like a calculator program here. One of the other neat things ArcaOS offers is if we go into computer here and go into system setup, this is where we've got all of your system settings, essentially. So you can modify mouse settings, the keyboard settings. You've got the registry editor in here. And you've also got the package manager right here. Now, we're on the network, so we'll be able to connect to the server it has to connect to. But yeah, you can just browse through here and select various packages to install. So here's all of our installed packages. I could also go to available over here, and this should give us a list of everything that we can install. So we got some Adobe fonts here. So let's say I wanted to grab, I don't know, FFmpeg. So I could right click on this, hit install, and so it's got a few dependencies that it needs, so we'll just get everything. But yeah, I mean, it's nice that there's a package manager on here. I mean, that just gives you access to, as you saw, an absolute ton of packages in here that you could install on ArcaOS. And while it's doing this, we could also just drag this over here, and oh, I actually kind of like how the like progress bar moves around. You can see it's not like all the way contained in the window, so we can kind of like mess with the window manager a little bit here, which is kind of funny. So yeah, we'll just kind of drag this down here. We'll let it, or actually, here's what we can do. We can just move to another desktop. Boom. There you go. So we'll just let everything do its thing on here. It looks like it's about halfway done with the packages here. It's got to update. And let's take a look at WinOS 2, which was obviously a, whoops, oh, I guess when you open up a computer, a window that's already open, it just brings you the desktop that it's open on. So we'll get out of all this and we'll go back here and open up a computer. And let's go into, actually it's under, yeah, it's under command prompts here. That's right. So we could start a WinOS 2 session. Of course, this was one of the big selling points of OS 2, is that it was a better DOS than DOS and a better Windows than Windows, because you could run OS 2, Windows, and DOS applications all under one system. So we could start a WinOS 2 session in a window here. You could also do it full screen. And yeah, it's the Windows 3.1 Program Manager that you've probably seen many times before on this channel, and also, you know, if you've used Windows 3.1 in the past. It does identify itself as WinOS 2, though. If you go into About Program Manager, it'll say IBM WinOS 2 Program Manager, and you've got IBM and Microsoft written in here. But it is version 3.1, so, you know, you could run Windows 3.1 programs, and you know, I don't have any on hand, but I mean, you guys you guys all know how that works, let's be honest. We could even go in here and go to control panel, and we could mess around with the color a little bit. We could change this to like the Arizona color scheme, so there you go. And yeah, it's Windows 3.1 or WinOS 2 if you want to be proper here, which I always loved this about OS 2. I found it really fascinating. And OS 2 itself, and I know that I keep saying this, and I said it at the beginning of this video too, but I really want to do like a full in-depth video on it someday. It's going to be quite the undertaking, I think, because I would want to put together a really nice, like, long-form documentary type thing. And I've got a few video projects like that, just really long-form kind of documentary-ish stuff that, you know, I've started work on. They just take a lot of time, man. I mean, I know I've mentioned the like Bliss video time and time again as a prime example of that, but that was a massive undertaking, and it took months and months and months to get finished, while also working on other video projects like this, so that you guys will still have, you know, like consistent content to watch on this channel in the meantime. So I definitely want to do more of the long form documentary stuff this year. I definitely hope I can get at least like one really well crafted long form documentary out on the channel before 2023 is over, but we'll see how things go, because, you know, things can change pretty rapidly here in YouTube land. But yeah, so it looks like the package manager has finished installing all of its stuff there, so we'll close out of that. And yeah, I mean, that is pretty much ArcaOS, just a brief overview of it anyway. This is certainly not for everybody. I should highly emphasize that. This operating system, to get a license, it costs over $100, and you'll pay like around $200 if you get the professional license for like commercial use. So, you know, it's not for everybody. It's really just for those people that have OS 2 applications that they need to run on modern hardware, or just want a more easy, convenient way to run OS 2 programs without having to like buy an old OS 2 system or use virtualization tools. But yeah, it's an option. It's out there. And I want to give a huge thank you again to Sean for lending me his ArcaOS license for this video. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up, get subscribed, all that good stuff. And as always, I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.